Now, Pauline, before we move on, is there anything more you want to say about the people who are battling at the moment, where government should be doing more, isn't doing enough, or is actually doing the right thing?
Well, it's good to see that they're propping up the small to medium-sized businesses, and I'm grateful for that. What they did was allowed foreign students unrestricted hours that they can work, and I think that's wrong. There's a lot of people who are in casual work, Australians, that won't have a job. I don't believe that foreign students should be allowed to work at all. Those jobs should go to Australians who want the work.
I do want to pick up Pauline, though, and for her singling out international students in Australia. And, you know, Pauline, I really don't like the way you play politics like that. You pick a particular group in the community, in this case the Chinese or international students, and you hang a sign around their necks and say enemy. And
well, we should say you're the university man.
Well, I mean, we're dealing with a problem here that's huge,
and that pays your
right?
salary.
Like that people are not going out and buying things because they're scared. This thing is huge. To try and draw it all the way back to international students is an absolute nonsense. I mean, if an international student has a job, well, guess what? They'll go out and spend money in our economy, and that's what we want.
All right, let the senators speak.
They send billions of them home. They send that money home.
In
Correct.
the economy, but to try and single them out as if that's the problem we need to be talking about tonight is just completely wrong. It's completely...
All right, okay, Nicholas, you got your gold star from Twitter. Pauline, what do you think?
International students can work up to 20 hours a week. The government have just now made it unlimited hours a week. A lot of Australians, casual workers and those where businesses are shutting down will have no income at all. They're not going to get anything from the government. When there are jobs on offer in Australia, I'm sorry, Australians should be getting those jobs. Whether it's stacking the shelves in Woolworths or Coles or some of these supermarkets, Australians should be getting the jobs, not foreign students.
You make a good point there, Pauline. There were 5,000 jobs advertised by Coles for additional workers. 36,000 people applied.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, Qantas laid off 20,000 people today. There's tens of thousands of casuals being laid off. There's a virus spreading through the community, which just means that people aren't going
outdoors. And there's
outdoors.
also the group of people I described.
International students, like, give me a...
No. Yeah, James, please. But Nicholas, in fairness, what she's saying is that if there's a limited number of jobs, who gets the priority for the jobs? I think you're pushing it a bit the other way too. But sorry, James, you get the last word. I want to move on from the virus.
I've just spent a couple of weeks going through all the AAT cases of the last 2 or 3 years involving the cancellation of international students' visas, and it's a racket beyond belief. We found, dozens of cases where people had had 8, 9, 10 different student visas in a row with what can only be described as BS course after BS course. One reason the governments, I suspect, got rid of the 20-hour-a-week law is because they'd never enforced it anyway. There were plenty of ways they could have done it, but they never did. So you'd have people who've been on student visas, and the test for being an international student in this country is temporary. They've been in this country in some cases for a decade, and it's going to take. And their visas get cancelled, and they get a bridging visa, which gives them unlimited work rights, and then you've got a year and a half to get through the AAT, another 2 years to get through the Federal Circuit Court, then you've got a year to get to the Federal Court of Australia. If you have a kid in your first year here in Australia and you get to 10 years, you're entitled to live here because the child's entitled to permanent residency or citizenship when it reaches 10 years old.
I've missed you, James.
International student system, the reality is, we have created a system which is just like America's Mexicans, except we charge them $8,000 a year to come and do a BS course in a BS college. At least the Americans, they hop over the fence and they hop on the back of the Daihatsu. The government and the universities, or not universities, the colleges don't make a quid out of them.
Of course, we are not talking about Melbourne University, Nicholas, so none of that was about you. All right, we're going to take a quick break now.